Hi, guys. Welcome to the first episode of the Hot Girl Theory. I'm your co-host, Mary.
And I'm your co-host, Tara.
All right, and welcome to the Hot Girl Theory. Tara, do you want to get into our topic of the day?
I do. So our topic for today is what life is like after high school in your 20s. All right, Mare, so what did you think adulthood was going to be like?
So, to preference, I'm 21. Tara's 25. I chose not to go to college.
I
Tara
went to college.
Went to a 4-year college. She graduated. So even in high school, I knew, even my junior year, I was like, I don't want to go to college. College is not for me. If I could be in my career now, I would want to be in it.
Yeah.
The thought of, going through another year and then, thinking, oh my gosh, everyone has their life together. Everyone's going to college. Everyone's already, doing college things. I was just like, it's just not for me, but I'm obviously going to go because everyone else is going to go. So, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't think I would be in college for that long, but I went for a year and a half, and, that was my college life, I guess.
All right, so to preface, this was my backstory. So, as a kid, I was forced to go to a private school. My mom thought I would be a bad kid if I went to a public school, although literally all of my friends were in public school and I hung out with them anyway because they lived in my neighborhood. She sent me to a private school. So I went to private school from preschool all the way to senior year of high school. My graduating class was 33 kids.
That is insane because I feel like mine, I want to say, was 300.
Yeah, mine was 33.
Maybe a little more, maybe a little less.
And 33 is pushing it. Maybe it was 30, 29. I don't know. It was a small school. And mind you, my school, when I graduated, I was the last graduating class of this school because it was shutting down. There was
how you know it's bad.
There were some things going on with the pastors and money and everything like that, so it was shutting down. So the principal even got fired halfway through my senior year.
For what?
I don't even remember. I think he was just laid off, they didn't have the funds. There was a lot going on at the school. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane. Anyway, so I was in a really small school. As you know, I'm a very outgoing person. I love people. I love doing things. Actually, I wasn't close with anyone at my high school.
Really?
No. I had a really bad experience. I didn't get along with the people at my high school. I don't know. Just...
What were the people like? Because, imagine, 30 people.
Very cliquey. So there was different groups, and I just didn't really align with any of them. Granted, I was kind of bratty, so I'm not going to be like I was an angel. I was bratty for sure. So I just struggled with my identity, who I was in high school. So I did struggle to fit in with proper groups and everything. I had friends, of course, but I was really close with people outside of my high school. I didn't get along with the kids at my high school, which is fine. It was an okay experience. I appreciate it for what it was, but I was really happy to graduate and leave.
See, I was the complete opposite. I was senior year was probably one of the best school years I've ever had. I had the best friends around me. I cannot tell you a bad day of my senior year.
Mm-hmm.
I loved every single second of it.
Yeah, and you were on the cheer team.
I was on the cheer team. I had amazing friends. Mm-hmm. I had, even towards the end of senior year, I started being really close with people I even went to middle school with that I barely even talked to. And it was such a good experience, but I also feel maybe if you went to public school you would have had such a better experience.
Yeah, it would have been much different.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And somehow I won homecoming queen. Not really sure how, because I wasn't friends with people, so I'm who voted for me?
They were probably who is not ugly? There
we go. When I was in freshman, I think it was freshman or sophomore year when I won, and I was friends with older kids, the juniors and seniors at the school. But I'm not sure. I don't remember how it worked, if the whole high school voted or if it was per grade. Not really sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving forward, I graduated from high school, super excited to go to college. I went to FAU, which was a college that was really close to where I lived at home. Mm-hmm. So I grew up 25 minutes away from where FAU was.
Yeah.
It's FAU is 5 minutes from the beach. I love the beach. So it was
right?
it was perfect.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to live at home, like I said, but I didn't want to be far from home because it was such a big jump going from such a small school
yeah.
to like
Tiny little fish
now
in a
there's
big old
so
pond.
many people. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing new kids because I was so used to seeing the same faces since preschool
Every
because we
day.
all traveled up together.
I could not imagine
That it was like,
I bet you knew everyone's dirty laundry.
oh yeah.
Do you have like a really big, like crazy secret?
I'm kind of scared because some of the high school kids still follow me on Instagram. Let me think of one that I like. I don't think they. I do have one that's just a funny like situation.
Yeah.
So basically, I was in kindergarten. I had a crush on this kid, and I go to like kiss him like on the cheek. And then as I'm going to kiss him, he like screams at me and tells on me to the teacher. I'm like, I was just whispering in his ear, I promise. And I got in trouble. Like what the heck?
Okay.
So I'm gonna air out my own. There was a lot of stories I can tell you in private, but on here I'm
we're
kinda
gonna have to talk later.
yeah, we will. But so I go to FAU. I really enjoyed it. I lived on campus. So that was an amazing experience. I was there for 2 years, ended up getting out of a really, really bad, unhealthy relationship, and I just needed to get out of Boca. It was also during COVID. COVID's the reason I was like able to get out of this unhealthy relationship because I was able to finally open up and confide like with my family and friends. And my friends were going up to a college in Orlando. So I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I need to get away. I need a new environment. So I applied, went up to UCF, and I graduated from there. Something that was really what I expected to stay with the same major. Like when I got into college, it was business. So I thought by the time I get out of college, I'm going to be making so much money and I'm going to be like knowing exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
See, I went into college, like, the only reason I really went in was because I was like, okay, because from, like, my junior year, I was like, I really want to be a model, but I was kind of like, let's hone it in and think, like, what is realistic. So I was like, okay, I would love to be a NICU nurse, but
I never knew that.
Yeah, I wanted to work in the NICU.
You'd have been a really good NICU nurse.
Because I really wanted to do something in the hospital because so many of my family works in the hospital.
And you're a helper. You love helping people.
Yeah, and I also love working with kids. So I was like, babies, and, you know, also I get to work in a hospital. But then my cousin is a NICU nurse, and she was like, half the time the babies don't survive.
Yeah.
You have to deal with premature babies. You have to deal with the moms. I was like, you know, that just
it's emotional.
Emotional. I'm like, I couldn't handle that. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go into business because something I always had interest in was being a social media manager. It was like being a social media manager for like a celebrity sounds so much fun because I love doing a lot of social stuff.
Yeah.
So I went for business and marketing, and my first year and a half was bogus. It was like,
as it usually is.
It's the first 2 years is just a jip.
It's prereqs. You're spending money for no reason.
It's like you did that for 12 years. I don't need to do earth, space, science. I did that in 6th grade.
It's a waste of money.
It is.
They do it just to get your money.
And I'm like, why isn't like a 2-year program like just what you're going into?
Preach, sister.
Yeah. So, and I was like, and I even told my mom, I was like, Mom, I can't do this. Like, I took accounting, which my friend pretty much did my accounting homework for me my first semester.
My friend did my statistics homework for me, and I realized business wasn't for me.
Yep. I did statistics, and my senior year, I wasn't even supposed to be in that class. My friend told me it would have been easy, and I had anxiety every time going in there.
Terrible.
Because I was the dumbest person in the class. Because I was supposed to be in like college math or something, or like it was
college readiness math.
Yes,
that's what I was in.
I think it was pretty much like just algebra, which I suck in.
Yeah, and it was a mix of, I think, like, at least for me, it was like liberal arts, which I don't even know how to explain what it was. It was kind of like world problems that you solve.
Yeah, so I had so much anxiety going in there every single day. But it made it better that, like, my closest friends also, like, barely passed the class. So I was like...
You didn't feel bad.
I didn't feel bad. So, I told my mom, I was like, I can't do this. And at the time, I had gotten a job opportunity to go work at interior design studio and do their marketing. And
I was going to
like,
say, I became your friend when you were still in college, and then you were going through that transitional period
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Of leaving college.
That's crazy.
So, everyone who doesn't know us, our friendship story was like a huge transformational time in both of our lives.
Yeah.
We really came into each other's lives when we needed each other.
Yeah, I was going through, well, not at the time. At the time, I was going through a really hard time with my best friend. And she's, like, when she entered my life is when, like, I just needed, like, support and I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just needed a friend and I didn't have that. And when I met her, we were like, we're single, we're gonna just go party. And we did for maybe 2 months.
Maybe even
2 months.
That's pushing it.
A little bit, and then
we dated each other's best friends and everything.
Yeah. So
here we are, committed relationships. What, a year and 8 months later?
Yeah. So our singleness party lasted very
2 minutes.
But then she ended up going through a friendship breakup. So it was like very shortly after.
Yeah.
So we were very much
connected.
Each other's like support at that time. It was a wild time.
I wouldn't have gone through it without you. Genuinely.
No.
I wouldn't have.
I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have the support I did.
And that's something that's also really hard about your 20s is your life changes so much.
Yeah, and I am so bad at change that like exiting high school, I remember my sister and like my mom telling me like, like you're not gonna be friends with these people forever, and I was like, no,
you argue with them. You're like, I know best. You don't know my friends.
Yes, I'm gonna have my few little friends because I had just a very close-knit group of friends. Mm-hmm. I was like, they're gonna be in my life forever. But then like they go to college, they made other friends, and like I feel like I did kind of feel left behind because everyone had a plan. Like everyone had a plan, and I kind of felt like I was the only one who's like left in the dust. Like I don't know what I want to do. So I feel like that's also a big difference is seeing so many people be like, I'm moving away. I'm going to college and I'm staying on campus.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like you kind of lose that interest. You kind of lose that like connection because like when you're in high school, you have so many things to talk about. You have friends, you have other people, you have people
you have the same life.
Like,
you're the same connected circle. You're all doing the same things,
you're
but
in
then
the same classes. You see the same teachers, and then like once you get into college, you're in different majors.
It tests your friendships.
Yes.
Yeah, and the strong ones are the ones that make it through college in those different phases in your life, and then there's others that you just grow apart from.
Yeah.
And
18 to 25 is like your formative years of like where things really get tested, like relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Friendships and like.
Yeah, there was people that I never thought would exit my life that are now strangers in my life. Yeah. And no matter how much you don't want the change to happen and you resist it, like I was doing for a long time, resisting these changes, I just have to trust God and go with the flow and know that whatever's meant to happen in my life is going to happen. Yeah. And there's nothing I can do to change that. No matter how tight I'm trying to hold on to something to keep it here, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah, that's definitely like one thing I've learned is like if there's no effort, like there's no point in keeping, to keep pursuing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And not only that, but it's hard enough when you see people in your own personal life doing all these different things and you feel lost. And then on top of it, social media, which is a literal highlight reel, and it's just the good parts that people post. Of course, we know some people who will post like crying videos, but majority of people are not going to post crying videos or their hard days. Yeah. And so it really makes you feel like, shit, like something's wrong with my life. Like, why are these people over here in mansions and have nice cars and these perfect relationships and these perfect friends and going on vacations all the time? Yeah. And then you're in your room eating a bag of popcorn, laying down in bed. Yeah, and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But really, you have to realize, like, social media is just a highlight reel, and
Yeah.
it's still something that I struggle with.
Oh, 100%.
And I find myself
especially
still...
with relationships.
Oh, yeah. I still find myself comparing my life to social media and people who I don't even know. So that's something that is definitely a goal this year of mine, and I've gotten a lot better with it, is knowing it's just a highlight reel, and that's not how their life actually looks on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're thinking about, like, okay, college versus taking another route, like, even if you take a break, like, I feel like your 20s is so many people I feel like pressure is, like, teachers especially, like, even in middle school, it's like, oh, that's not going to fly in high school, or that's not going to fly in college. And I'm
an 8th grade teacher, so I've said that to my kids.
Yeah. Really? Are they like, Miss Pizza? Like,
yeah, and I thought to myself, like, honestly, high school's, like, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Basically, because I am a special ed teacher, as you know. So I have kids that they have attention deficit disorders, so it's already hard for them to focus and get work done and everything. So they would have, like, zeros and everything. They wouldn't do their work at home, nothing. And I'm like, us, the teachers at the school, were very lenient with our kids. We gave them multiple opportunities. We would give them till the end of the quarter to, like, make up this work to get them to pass.
Some teachers are like that. Other teachers are like, nope, zeros.
And I would tell the kids that's not going to fly in high school. Like, most of the teachers are going to, you have a deadline and that's the deadline, because that's life. These kids cannot think when they go out to the real world that they can have all these extra chances, like, at work, that you're going to get fired. Yeah. It's not setting them up for success.
Yeah. But I feel like the crunch time in, like, once you get to, like, junior year, like, kids like that, that's when they fail, because then they're like, I wasn't trained like that. And I mean, really, it is the teacher's jobs to do that, but also it's your job to make sure they feel like they can do it.
And supported.
Yeah.
And that's something that was always my main goal. Always telling my students how proud I am of them. They can do it, because
a lot of kids need that more than you think.
I had a teacher in high school. I will never forget this, and this is the main reason I became a teacher. Her name was Miss Mack, and she was my ELA teacher. I was a freshman, and I had asked her a question. We were learning about Shakespeare. I asked her a question, don't remember what the question was, and it was a big class because it was mixed grades. I had about, like, 25 kids in my class. I remember I asked the question, and she was like, you're so stupid. You're never going to make it to college.
No way.
In front of the entire class. And that stuck with me. Like, when I got to senior year and I got that acceptance letter to FAU, I just bawled. I was like, I proved her wrong. Like,
sent it to her after.
She was gone after my freshman year, so I didn't see her again. But I remember how she made me feel, like, she was so degrading. And she wasn't like that with other kids. At least that I saw, I felt so picked on in that class. So when I became a teacher, I was like, I will never make a student feel like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But to think, like, a adult is picking on a kid like that. Like, how do you think they go home feeling?
Yeah, it was terrible.
That's horrible. Terrible.
And that was one of the main reasons when business and college didn't work out for me. I was so lost in my life. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm like, you know what? I need to, because I've always known I want to do something that helps people. And I was like, let me be a teacher. Like, my thing that steered me away from teaching was obviously the pay, which sucks. But I'm so blessed that I've been able to do it these past 2 years. And I've met the most amazing kids that are, like, my children, as you know.
I remember your first year, it was, like, the last day, you told me about the girl that wrote you the note. And I was like, it was just awesome to know, like, and like you said, like, so many kids have, like, written you so many amazing things. Yeah. Like,
I keep all of them. Make you feel good. I keep all of them in a little box. Like, when I tell you, I got 20 different end of the year gifts and letters, even from kids that were not my student. They were just in the class I was in, because basically the way my job works is I'm a support facilitator. So there's a main teacher, and then I'm the second teacher in the classroom that pushes in to help my specific roster of kids that are in the class. So there could be 20 kids in the class, but my kids are like 8 of them. Yeah. So even kids that weren't assigned to me had such a connection with me and gave me things and gave me these letters. Yeah. it really made me feel so proud of the work I did this year.
Yeah.
And it made it all worth it.
I know, like, I'm sure this has happened to you where, like, a kid, like, you, like, literally don't know will come up to you and, like, talk to you and, like, as if, like, you're, like, their biggest inspiration.
Yes.
Like, I've had this little girl, like, come up to me every single day and be like, hi, Miss Mary, and, like, give me a hug. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I love it.
Because tell them you work at the YMCA.
Well, yeah, so for work, I work with kids. I don't know why. I work 2 jobs with children. That's not what I want to do with my life, but I do love it. I'm a supervisor at a middle school, and where Tara works at, and then right now I'm doing summer camp at a private school, and during the school year I work with the 2-year-olds. Right now I'm with like 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
The hard ages.
And I'm going to tell you the cutest thing that happened on Friday. This boy comes up to me and he's like, hey, Miss Mary, or he gives me this little bouquet of like these daisies. And he was like, do you have like a rubber band I can wrap it with? And I was like, yeah, like I'll tie a string when we get to the classroom. So I thought they were for his mom. And I told his mom this story this morning. I was like, I have to tell you the cutest thing that happened.
Aww.
And apparently he does this all the time.
Oh,
apparently he's a little ladies man.
Wow.
When I heard that, I was like, he's not new.
So
like,
he's not new at this. He's a professional.
Yeah, and so I put them in a little cup with water, put them outside. I was like, hey, like, you know, like they're out there. I'll just let, you know, like don't like forget about them when you leave because I thought they were for his mom. And that was gonna burp. And he comes up to me during lunch and he's like, hey, there it was. Sorry. He was like, what's her name? And I was like, oh, like, that's so-and-so. And he grabbed the cup of flowers and he gave it to her and I wanted to die because it was the cutest thing ever. And she's like, why is he giving me flowers? I was like, I don't know, you better keep them.
Maybe she was wondering because he's been all around the school with these girls and giving them a bunch of flowers. Oh, it's just...
I don't think he goes to the school. He just goes there for summer camp.
Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen him talk to any other girls.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't even see him talk to her, but I was like, okay, get it.
That's so cute, though. That's cute.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then I told her brother, I said, you better not let her throw these away. Yeah. And he was like, where are these even from? And I was like, that kid. He was like, okay. Don't laugh, it's very adorable.
Literally.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say was the hardest after you graduate making new friends? Because I feel like kind of once you're out of high school, it's like a bike with training wheels. It's like, okay, like you're still going to school, maybe some kids are at, or like maybe you've talked to some people that you're rooming with at a college in another state. Like you kind of know someone. But like after graduation, it's like you're kicked into the real world and you're like, figure it out.
I will say I had it really easy. Really easy. I'm like I feel like 1% because so many people I've heard have struggled with this. It was really easy for me because once I got out of college, I was working at the YMCA.
Yes.
And that's where I met you.
Yeah.
And I was nervous to like become your friend and everything.
Can we talk about that real quick? So we had a middleman, all right? And I told him all the time, I was like, and he was my friend from high school, and I was like, I want to be your friend. He didn't care, and he told me he didn't care, which was fine. And
then he became my friend at the summer camp, and I told him I wanted to be her friend, and then he didn't do anything to help us. Nope. And then I started debating another kid at the lunch table.
Okay, so there was this one kid that worked with us. He was so annoying.
He basically is Christian to the point where he believes women, their main job is to serve men, very against women's rights.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of things.
Religion-based, not relationship-based.
A lot of things I just disagreed with, which I am religious. I'm Christian, but I believe in women's rights. I believe in different political aspects that he would push on to me. And I didn't like that. We're working at the YMCA summer camp with kids.
There's middle schoolers around, and I turn around to hear they're talking.
He was talking about abortion and how it's so wrong. It's murder.
And I'm didn't he bring his, like, I'm sure he had, like, a notebook or, like, a Bible.
I could have sworn he brought his Bible.
I think he did. And then I was literally sitting there. I chewed all my nails off during this
And I was like, don't pull up Bible verses. I went to a Christian school my whole life. And I know what I'm talking about.
I literally remember you saying that. And I was just like, girl.
I was so mad.
Oh my gosh.
And then
was like every day.
That's what caused us to become friends. Because you would sit there and listen to the debates. And then we would start like laughing and talking how
Yeah.
like crazy he was basically.
Yeah.
And we became friends because of that.
Yeah, and I asked her because she wears this lipstick that I was literally like, not to be like weird, but I was like looking at her lips and I was like, does she have her lips tattooed? Because I was like, I never see a real.
Everyone asked that. I'm not wearing the lipstick right now, so don't like zoom in and think that I'm wearing it.
It's
not
but
this
like
one.
it literally looked like she had her lips tattooed. Like that's how like perfect it was.
Thank
but
you.
like the first did you work on the after school program at
Yes.
some point? Okay. So it was a Wednesday.
Yes.
And me and her got paired together, and I don't remember what the club was, but
it was the esports, the electronic club. We were in
we were in the
culinary
DR5.
room.
Yes, so we go in there. We just get to talking, and Wednesdays it's like
3 hours.
3
It's the
hours.
long Wednesday.
I tell her every single detail because I think we were talking about the guy that went to that was
And how he was like in love with her and this.
yeah, like we talked
crazy things.
I literally was like, oh, this is all the drama, this is all the tea. I literally told her all my boy drama from like high school.
We became besties.
Oh
like
my
that
gosh.
was it.
She was just sitting there like wow, like
No, and then you
literally,
invited
like,
me to go country line dancing.
yes, because I talked about it all the time. And you know what's crazy? People make fun of me for it. In high school, people make fun all the time.
I made fun of people who went to country line dancing.
Oh yeah, it was like because I would talk about it at the camp all the time. But now everyone I know that goes to everyone I went to high school with goes out line dancing, and I'm like, oh.
No, seriously, I made like fun of everyone who ever went line dancing, and I said I will never own cowboy boots. I'll never own
like 4 pairs.
I literally, because you had invited me, and I was like, she's so cool. Like, I want to be your friend. This is a perfect way. Like, let's hang out outside of work. So I did it just for you. I go there, became obsessed because it's not just country songs. Mm-hmm. That's what, like, kind of turned me off. I'm like, it's going to be really country hillbilly.
Like, yeah.
And it wasn't. There was, like, Pitbull playing and really fun dances. Yeah. And then I became addicted to wanting to learn.
Yeah, she literally came over every single day and we'd learn dances. I still have videos on my phone of
I was practicing.
Learning. Yes. Oh my gosh, like country
the best
girl
days.
Work. Like that was
my gosh.
That was the prime cowboys.
And you went with me. We drove like an hour and a half away to buy my first pair of boots.
Yes.
The best days.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I was back to our point. I was really lucky at becoming friends with you at the school I worked at because that's where the YMCA program was. Mm-hmm. And then I met Claudia, Morgan. Those 2 girls also worked at the school I worked at. Yeah. So I pretty much found all girls.
Like immediate friends.
All at the same, we're all in our early 20s, which you wouldn't think would be working at like a middle school.
I know.
And I guess the only reason that was why they were is because it's near UCF. So like they bring a lot of college kids over. I got super lucky. Yeah. Like, not a lot of people have that. What was your experience like?
So, out of high school, I had some really close friends. And I grew up cheering. So, I had, like, a good, solid scatter of friends. Like, I have friends from my childhood. I have friends from cheer. I have friends from whatnot. But as far as, like, close friends, it was not long after I had left college. I had ended up losing my best friend and the other one. And Tara, thank goodness, I was getting really close to her at that time. And at that time, like I said, like I really had no one. Like I was going to Cowboys by myself. My friend, she didn't want to go with me. She had other priorities, which is fine. So I ended up going to Cowboys by myself. And then that's when I met all the boys. So her boyfriend was one of my closest friends that I met at Cowboys. I met Jaden, and then he introduced me to all the boys. And then after Tara started to come, I was like, I have to introduce you to my friends.
Then I got the biggest crush on Matt, which was her friend.
Yes.
And I would always tell Mary, I'm like, I can't stop looking at him when he's dancing.
I was like, Tara, no.
Like, mad
moving
shout
on.
out, you know I love you so much.
Matt, I love you too.
And he still doesn't believe this. He doesn't believe me that I had the biggest crush on him.
Oh,
because
I can testify.
Because he wanted to ask me out. I thought he was a player, which he was. Granted, you're single. Have your fun.
He had a little moment there.
He had girls all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I witnessed it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of obsessed girlies. And I'm like, go you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, nah.
We'll have to get into the whole, like,
The whole
how
background
we met our
story.
boyfriends. Yeah.
But then I ended up, like, a few weeks later, I'm like, you know what? I need him. So then I got some liquid courage.
Went behind my back, and she was like, Mary, I did something bad.
Because she didn't want me with him because she didn't. I was like the first one in the friend group to go for someone in the friend group. And we didn't want something to break up the friend group.
Well, that, and I was just being a protective friend.
You were.
Sorry, gotta look at this.
You were.
You were. Being protective.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he can be a little stubborn.
Yeah. He's literally, it's so crazy because Matt is me and Lucas is Tara.
Literally.
Like, literally to a T.
Yeah.
But it was so nice, like, kind of having, like, a group that I looked forward to seeing every day. Like, every weekend.
I adore our group. The fact that we go every single Friday line dancing, and it's just our one night out of the week where we can just all hang out and catch up. Yeah. The boys hang with the boys, the girls hang with the girls. Yeah. We're not, like, up each other's asses, like, in our relationship. Like, you know, the couples that can't leave their couples, their boyfriend or girlfriend's side? Yeah. We're not like that. Like, we all scatter and go our own ways and then come back, and it's great. The boys
are outside, or they're playing pool, or they're drinking at the bar. The girls are dancing or talking. Like, I think that was the biggest blessing I got out of, like, my friendship breakup is, like, you were there to support me, and then after you had fallen out with your friend, it's like we really built a bond with this group because there's a perfect amount of girls, a perfect amount of boys, so you kind of have, like, very, very different personalities, and they're the best people ever. Like, they're literally my big brothers and sisters.
All the boys are from Brazil.
All the boys are from Brazil.
It's a Brazilian group with a bunch of American women.
Yeah. Yeah, we got, like, one or two American boys
literally.
In there, but, you know. But, yeah, I think to anyone who's, like, going through a friendship breakup or going through, like, losing kind of friends after college, like, that's when you have to find what your thing is. Because if I hadn't gone to Cowboys by myself, if I didn't have the courage to, if I just sat home and felt bad for myself and I was like, I really want to go out, but I don't have anyone to go out with, I never would have met these people.
And if I had stayed in my comfort or, like, saying I will never step foot in a country place, my life would never be here. Yeah. And that's what's so crazy.
I know.
Is you in your 20s to make those friends and to change your life for the best, you have to take those risks and be like comfortable in the uncomfort.
Yeah, and, like, to think that I would go out to a club. I mean, it's not a club. It's like it's like
a bar.
It's a bar. It's like the most homey bar you could think of. But, like, to think that, like, I would go out 3 nights a week and, like,
no, we used to go 4.
Myself. Yeah.
We started going 4.
And we literally had to be on bed rest on Sunday and Monday because
I lost my voice for 2 months because I was always sick.
She was always sick. So it was first year teaching, then we were out 4 days a week
till 3 a.m.
Maybe 5 hours that whole week.
It was really, really bad.
So bad. Like, she was
I had to stop. I had to. I was so sick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
But those were, like, the best times. We have like great memories.
Yeah. But yeah, just go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Just, you know, if your heart is telling you, you know what, I'm just going to take a risk. I'm going to go for it because it could be the best thing to happen.
Yeah. And so my bestie set me up with my man. I set her up with her man.
Yeah, I tried to run away as fast as I could. She would not let me, and it was also the best thing ever.
Literally. Okay. So trust your friends.
Yeah. how long we've been talking. Oh, I don't know what that means.
Me either.
Oh, 36 minutes, okay. Okay. So, you went through college. You graduated through college.
Yes.
Do you have anything to say to anyone who's... Because a lot of people just graduated. As it does every year.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, what would you say to, like, people even... Because I didn't go through that college experience of being in college. Did you actually have any, like, expectations that weren't met when you were in college? Like, with, like, the partying or, like, anything like that?
Well, I partied a lot freshman year when I was at FAU. And then
Because that isn't like a big party school? Or, like, not really?
No. But because we were only, like, 40 minutes from Miami, they would always have party buses, like, down in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, so I would be out drinking all night until, like, the sun rose and going, like, drunk to my 8 a.m. class.
Oh my gosh.
And, yeah, so I got that out of my system the first year. Once it's out of your system, you're kind of like, okay, I need to grow up a little. It gets very old. It's always, like, the same thing, different night, you know? But it's fun. Like, everyone has that experience in the beginning. For expectations, I'm trying to think. I expected to learn more than I actually did. I genuinely feel like I learned nothing in college.
Really?
If I'm being quite honest with you, I feel like I learned absolutely, like, nothing. I did all my learning in, like, high school. Like, that's where I learned.
Yeah.
But that also was a time where Socratic wasn't really a thing.
I fucked some Socratic up.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID. I don't even know why I did. I was just being genuinely lazy. Because for history, world history, like, I was really good at it. But I used Socratic for everything. I was just being lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to use, like, flashcards in high school and all that. Like, kids I feel like don't even use that anymore.
You use flashcards in high school? Or
yeah.
like the note cards?
Yeah, flashcards to, like, study and stuff. We would write out everything. Yeah. Now everything's online, so kids don't do that anymore.
You know what's crazy? I could not imagine going through middle school with computers.
No, I wouldn't be able to learn. So, I feel like that's why I learned, because we wrote on paper.
The middle school that she was teaching at and that I work at, not gonna lie. They all have computers. Mm-hmm. And I find that very hard to learn because I would get so distracted.
Oh, yeah. Like, and they do. They go on YouTube all the time.
I'm on paper. Like, I'm a paper person. I need to see it on paper. I can't do it on a screen. Like, I need to have it physical. So, the fact that, like, a lot of these kids, like, I'm honest, and, like, do they not think, first of all, literally it was, like, the last day or two before they had to turn their computer in. And one of my kids dropped it and broke it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
same here.
Who thought giving middle schoolers computers was a smart idea? High schoolers, maybe. Middle schoolers, no. And I feel like it makes teachers' lives so much harder.
Yeah. And then they don't even know how to write a sentence. They complain to write one word down on paper.
Their handwriting is crazy.
I just feel like you need that, like, muscle-mind connection.
100%.
And the computer doesn't give that.
No.
And now
they're staring at a screen all day.
Yeah, it's not good for their eyes.
No.
Now there's AI. So, like, when I was in college, there was Socratic. So I feel like that was the main reason why I didn't learn. So it's kind of my fault. But everyone was doing it. Doesn't make it right. But now my kids, like, my students, I should say, I don't have kids, use AI. So that's another thing that's causing, I feel like, a lot of issues. Yeah. And I'm kind of worried to see where this generation's going to go with that, because I'm worried to see them so reliant on AI to the point where I don't know if they're going to retain this information.
Yeah.
It's just worrisome. It's interesting to see how the world is now and maybe where it's going to take these kids.
But I was actually talking about that with one of the preschool teachers today about how these kids are just like, always on the damn phone. But, like, I am too all the time, so I can't really say much. But, yeah, I ask the kids all the time, I'm like, where are your notes? Like, when I would have homework with them, and they'd be like, my teachers don't tell me to do notes.
Oh.
Or, like, I don't have notes. And I'm like...
First off, that is BS.
I don't believe that.
Because...
But it's hard because everything is on the computer.
The teachers would... Okay, I was only in the English and math classroom.
Yeah.
So I only know from those, they absolutely required to take notes. They always had a million notes on the board. Majority of the kids were refused. So I was like a soldier with these kids.
And demonetized.
It's the truth. Okay, cut that out. I literally was so strict with these kids to the point where I would be, like, literally, I would sit down next to them in these seats and I'm like, you are not doing anything else until you write every single one of these notes.
Oh, yeah.
I would copy them down on the whiteboard and, like, put it next to them so they could copy everything down so they can't tell me she's moving too fast. I'm like, it's right here.
Yep.
Like, let's go. Come on. And my kids know that. Like, if you guys are, because my kids might be listening to this podcast, they might find it one day. They know. They know Miss Beza was...
They know Miss Beza's...
Was a real one.
Yeah. All about her notes.
Which I used to drive them crazy with that stuff, but they thank me now. So,
yeah.
Okay, so to end off this week's podcast, what are some advice or life lessons for someone coming out of, let's say, high school and really, really worried to go into the real world? Because I know I felt that and I was scared coming out of high school.
I mean, one thing my therapist tells me all the time is you don't have to have it all figured out.
Shout out Bobby.
Shout
we
out
both
Bobby.
have the same
We
therapist.
have the same therapist. We have to, like, sit there and be like, oh my gosh, like, Tara, oh my gosh.
And she has to, like, act like she doesn't know us.
Like, we didn't just pass each other in the hallway. Like,
she's like, so who's Mary?
oh, I'm sorry. Can you refresh me on that Tara name?
Yeah, like, girl, I just saw you an hour ago.
I was like, it's okay. You kind of know that. I know you.
She's professional.
Like,
I love her.
Professional. You don't have to have it all figured out. And, like, coming from two people who had very, very different, like, Tara's no longer a teacher. That just wasn't her plan.
I'm still figuring my life out.
And she's, I mean,
I'm 25.
Like, I had said earlier about, like, the pressure of, like, you come out of high school and, like, people think that you have to have it all together. Your grades have to be perfect. You have to go into college and do all the sorority and frat, and you have to, like, kind of be on top of things, when it's like that pressure just, it doesn't mean much.
No.
Like, you don't have to have it all together. Even, like Tara said, like, with social media, like, it's all fake. It's
and
all
you wanted to be an interior designer, and that didn't work out. Now you're going into modeling. I thought you did. Why'd you work at the interior design firm then?
Because I was marketing.
Oh, that's why?
Yeah, I went into college for business marketing.
So you were just at the interior design firm just for marketing? Oh. You see, this podcast helps me learn things about you.
So I guess we don't know each other as well as I
No,
I'm just kidding.
I literally thought
no.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I would never want to be an interior designer. No, just not my thing. I'm not that creative.
I would be a good I love.
Yeah. The way she decorated her new kitchen is crazy.
Oh my gosh. It looks so good.
I didn't really have to pee, but, you know.
Go pee.
Pause. Okay, I'm back. So, what was I saying?
You were correcting me about how you didn't want to be an interior designer.
Yeah.
That's actually concerning. You're my best friend. How did I get that so confused? Well, to be fair to me, you were working in interior design firm.
I know.
Foggy brain. It's
Foggy
okay.
Brain. Yeah. But yeah, like, I just, you know. let me get my train of thought back.
No, like when you do that mouth, or when you like this, when you're like, do you know what you're talking about? When you do that, you're like, no, you do, it's like, oh my god. No.
You don't have to have your life all figured out.
You don't. I still don't have mine figured out, and I'm 25, but it's starting to fall into place.
She is starting her own, well, not starting her own business, but you're
I have my own,
your own business.
Yes.
And she's pretty much not starting from the ground up, thankfully, but you are pretty much starting from your own scratch of, like, getting this business. She has a flower truck. It'll be linked below if you want to follow and support, please.
Yeah, so my aunt, as you know, started this flower truck. It was a sunflower truck. She ran it down in South Florida. She started it for my Granny Jay, who passed from breast cancer. So the name of the business is Flowers from Judith. Then my aunt unexpectedly died last year. She had a heart attack. That was a really, really hard time for me. Yeah. Super unexpected. And
didn't your aunt pass in May?
March.
It was in
March 29th.
I thought it was in May. Wow.
I believe it was March 29th.
Oh, yes, because I was in Ireland.
I know it was in March. It was the end of March.
Because I was in Ireland. I remember now. Okay. Yeah, continue.
I gotta check on the correct date, but it was the end of March.
Yeah, and I was in Ireland. Yeah.
Really unexpected. And they didn't have kids, so my uncle gave me the business to bring up to Central Florida to continue running. So I started from zero in the sense of finding places up here. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But I had a lot already prepared from my aunt, which was really nice.
Yeah.
So
Well, I just want to throw out a little story. So I go with her because I'm not going to let her go.
She's the bestest friend ever.
By herself, and any time to spend more time with Tartar is the
You're
best
just so
time.
supportive.
So we go to Foxtail Coffee like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was a flower stand, and we pretty much wear like this, like we just kind of go casual.
But before you say the embarrassing part, I was in the process of moving, so like everything was packed up, so I was a little out of it. Okay, continue.
So we get there, and the flower stand, it's just like a white flower stand. Like there's no like nothing that says Flowers from Judith or anything on it. So and we put out the stand, we put out the flowers, and the like front entrance of the coffee shop is directly in the sun. So we're like, oh, let's go to the shaded area. So not really by the coffee shop, it's like the corner. And we set out a table.
Usually we have the sign and everything.
Usually we have a sign.
But I forgot it.
It was just a flower stand and a white table. And Darren was like, why is no one coming by us? We had this one old man say that he's going to go get his wife. He never returned. And then I said, Tara, I kind of feel like Girl Scouts.
Yeah,
we don't have a sign, we don't have shirts. I feel like
it was embarrassing.
It was really, really bad.
Oh my god, I want to cry just thinking about it. It was so embarrassing. And mind you, this coffee shop was like 35 minutes away, so it's not like I can just run home and grab the sign that I forgot that says in big letters Flowers from Judith.
Yeah, and she also has tote bags that say Flower from Judith and stuff like that. And it would have probably helped if we wore shirts.
We only had one customer, but that customer was amazing.
Yes,
she actually awesome. Had been following my aunt and lived up in Orlando, was waiting to like go to the event. So that made the experience worth it.
It was really cool because she came over and was like, oh, who's the niece? I was like,
I know.
It was like so really cool that like she knew that much to like know that you were the niece.
Oh yeah. So yeah, even my life's changing. Like just took the leap, stopped teaching, and now I'm focusing on my business. So it's been crazy.
And
just moved, just got a new car.
So many exciting things are happening.
Yeah. And you're about a model. You just had your shoot.
I just had my headshots done. I'm trying to get into the modeling game. I'm trying to be more active on social media because as much as I love my babies, I don't foresee myself going back to the Y. I think I'm done at the middle school. So like for now, if I'm just able to work with my babies and then focus more on like the podcast and our socials and me, like that's what I have to do for me.
And you got this.
Yeah. Morgan said something to me the other day. She was like, you were in such a good place. Like you were like you are doing everything correct. And I was like, that made me feel so validated. Because it's like kind of like that period where you're like that's my only choice. And
you're like, did I do the right thing?
Yeah.
Like I always think that, did I do the right thing by leaving teaching?
Yeah.
But I had like no support from admin and that pushed me away from teaching.
Yeah.
Because it's already a hard job. You're already not getting paid enough. And then if you don't have that support from admin, it's really difficult to do. And I left crying most days, as you witnessed.
We are literally going to have to get into the nitty-gritty of
will
teaching and like what it is actually like working with kids, because I feel like even for me, I was like, oh my gosh, you could have just played with babies.
No.
That's not how it is.
We got lots of stories we'll definitely get into.
Lots of stories, lots of craziness.
All right, well.
But I think that's it.
Well, to our first episode. We
episode.
did it. Yay! And we will see you guys next Wednesday.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed.
Bye.